Right, the bell, episode 9, researching with Mar. Now, for those who don't know, Mar is my wife to be. She's an amazing person. When she's new to this conscious community and she has some questions, and what we're going to be doing is researching all of the questions that she has, get into depth with these questions. She's nervous, but it's funny. It's so funny. We probably won't even get any views.
Oh, that's okay. That's better. No, I'm joking. That's not better.
So we was talking about the Holocaust. Let's get into
it. Well, basically, hopefully by the springtime, I'll have answers as to what my true, ethnicity and my true race, what it really is. So we were talking about that. I know that I'm great part German. So we were discussing the Holocaust and how I'm not intrigued because it was a tragedy, but I'm intrigued just to know more about it. And I just had questions about Adolf Hitler and all that.
Well, Adolf Hitler. That dude, man, supposedly he was said to be paid off.
He was said to be paid off.
He was said to be paid off.
Paid off.
And he was like targeted by the elite to carry out their agenda. That's basically what is it? I'm actually looking up some stuff right now. So we're gonna do some research. People still think Holocaust was a hoax. Look at all this stuff.
Well, you said something about that, and that's mainly what really got me curious about the Holocaust. Was you said something of the like that it didn't happen. You said it.
Right here. Well, I was talking about the Zionist Jews.
Can you elaborate on this, James? People still think the Holocaust was a hoax.
Right.
Was it a hoax?
That's what we're researching right now.
That's what we're looking at. All right. I just expect you to have.
It says one day you expect me to know right.
I just expect you to have all the answers.
I'm telling you, I did this research before. I'm just trying to show you. This is the stuff that's being talked about. Okay. Yeah, you're saying boo, but I'm trying to say.
I say boo because I personally.
I'll put a video on.
I personally rather you read me some facts and you.
I'm trying to show you.
I don't want to show. I want you to read it to me.
All right, fine.
And I want you to answer my questions, and I want other people to answer my questions. I personally don't want to sit and look on Google.
You see? Right here, only 1/3 of the world believes 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. The Holocaust started because of Zionist Jews in the NWO, New World Order, said another. So why do so many people deny that the Nazis systematically killed 6 million Jews? Did I just say that, or did I not just say that when we was talking off air?
I'm just
saying, like, it's this is what's being taught. I'm not lying. Like, I'm not making it up. Like, this is this type of stuff people are talking about. You know? I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? But this is the type of stuff that people are talking about.
You're definitely deleting this. This is no way is this staying up.
It's gonna stay on. All right, so no. We're gonna look up some more stuff on the Holocaust. On Adolf Hitler. See, 2 viewers. Good.
My new people are listen. This isn't a good show. We need to get it better. Answer.
Why you hating on me? Oh, we got a sniper, everybody. We got a sniper in the fucking real life shit. What are we gonna do?
I'm just saying, like.
Oh my god.
I don't.
You just gotta relax. You can stream for a long time. It's got up 8 hours worth of footage. We're all right. All right, so let's just look up some videos and stuff.
I don't know if I like the Holocaust topic.
Okay, so let's switch up the topic. We don't want to talk about Holocaust anymore.
Well, get that book I just bought today for a dog. Can you grab it for me? Just roll right over there. Grab that quick.
All right, people.
No, because you said something about don't put a filter on the water, and I'd like to understand more about your
I'm
opinion.
saying Sarah Gilbert, everybody. Let's put the
this is the girl from Roseanne. Darlene, I believe her name. I didn't watch.
This girl right here. She's got a book.
Sarah Gilbert. It was $1 Dollar General.
It's $1. See, price, $1.
All right, they see it. But what matters most is what's inside.
Yes, she's got a lot of good information in here. But she's talking about putting a filter on your water or whatever. What was it?
No, that was just one part of it.
Yeah, but screw that. Don't even drink it at all. Don't. What?
Yeah. Well, that's what we were talking about. Was one aspect of something you were saying was about the filter, but in summary, her book is a practical guide to clearing your body, detoxing your home, and saving the earth, like without losing your mind and being like too OD with it. But it's called The Imperfect Environmentalist.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just goes through different topics and whatnot. One was a filter, water filter, and not to drink the tap. And she gave a website you could put like your zip code in and find out like what type of chemicals may be flowing through your water or something like that. But this is the part I'm on right now. Is about I guess a study done in China.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long-term project in rural China. Found that a diet-free of dairy can dramatically reduce risks of like cancer, diabetes, and all that stuff. Basically, dairy isn't the best for our bodies, and we grew up with those, milk
those
mustache.
values, yeah. Oh, yep.
Milk helps build strong bones, but in actuality, we're learning now that milk isn't necessarily meant for us to be drinking. I'm sure it's all right if you drink 1 glass or whatever, but it's not something we should religiously be drinking. It's meant for baby cows.
Yeah.
Just like my breast milk is meant for my daughter, and it's,
Yeah.
I think if, kind of follows that. Are we meant to be drinking cow's milk? And I know everyone's entitled to their opinion and whatnot, but we in this household have drastically cut out, dairy and our meat intake has gone down as well. I mean, we indulge every now and again on, some chicken fingers, not gonna lie, but for the most part, we try to, we're trying to practice, some vegan values and, be conscious of the environment and all that. That's why I picked up this book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's just a little bit of what I read so far.
Yeah, on YouTube, we got there's somebody called Vegan Warrior.
Recipes?
Yeah.
And food and stuff?
Master Peace knows a lot too. Master Peace is a vegan himself.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he got a lot of good recipes himself.
I mean, when I was working with, I'd worked with some personal trainers for about a year or so, and I learned a lot about diet and, plyometrics and all that. But about diet, which changed my life completely, just by changing the foods that I was eating, and, even just cutting out soda in itself is drastically going to help your health.
Oh, man.
It's going to help you in, if you're struggling with weight, that as well, that'll definitely help. Just cutting that and, switching over to like whole grain bread, and whole grain items. Those 2 items, those 2 right there, you'll definitely see a change. But I know I was saying something about my trainers, but I forget what I was saying. I tend to lose train of thought if I don't stay on path.
Yeah,
you said something about my trainers.
About like all the diet, like everything that they was teaching you, like what the food, becoming a vegan and how to eat, what right foods to eat. Meeting you. What was spinach? I never thought I would eat spinach.
Yeah, spinach is good, and I think they say the darker the green, the better it is for you. And I don't have all the minerals and vitamins down to a T, and which vegetables provide. I don't know all that, but they do say like the darker the green, the better it is for you. And so we try to incorporate spinach a lot in. Spinach goes right down when you cook it in, mushrooms. But yeah, something about my trainers, but they helped me. They changed my aspect on dairy products. They told me a long time ago, and this was like 5 years ago, I was working with them, and they said to cut out, limit your dairy. Milk isn't really that good for you or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been living close to a dairy-free life for many years now, but I do have cheese on my eggs every now and again.
Jerron, you still eat meat? You into?
Yeah, I still eat meat, man. I'm trying to get back to it. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get back to the vegetarian.
Is there particular meats that you enjoy, that you like more? Beef or chicken or whatever?
Well, like venison, I eat deer every once in a while. I've eaten alligator before.
Yeah.
I've eaten turtle. I've eaten raccoon.
Ooh, crazy thing. Nah, but do they taste good? That's what I want.
Bro, they taste delicious.
Oh my God. Alligator? When you dip that in some sauce?
Nah, it was an accident. I didn't even know what it was. My wife came home with it from a neighbor, and it was barbecued. So they had barbecue sauce on it. Hold on.
Sounds good to me. I can use that right now. Alligator salad.
Alligator salad with some hot sauce on top, nigga. Damn.
Sounds good to me.
That shit was good. I ain't gonna lie, it was good. I wanted another piece, but it was a while back though. And
how was the raccoon?
It was good. It was delicious.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was real good. It was better than
real good. Oh man.
Like
I don't even.
But when I see one now, I'm like, oh man, I ate one of y'all. And I feel the same way with my cows when I watch them on in the slaughterhouse and shit. I feel bad.
Yeah, it's like we can adjust our eating habits as much as we'd like, but those slaughterhouses are still filled, and they're building more. And a couple towns over, we're getting a slaughterhouse out in Westport. They're building one, and the town is mad. Some of the citizens are angry, some are happy, and it's just it's a weird feeling because we can cut the meat out, but they're still going to be chopping them up, whether we're partaking or not. That's that mass production. They got to keep up the numbers and keep. People will buy it, so they're gonna produce it. They know there's money to be made, and they're gonna make it. They got us.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of have us, for lack of a better term. I'm sure there are better terms for it, but kind of have us by the balls when it comes to our food. Yeah,
we're pinned in the corner. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's tough. Because, I think about it, you go to Dollar Tree and they used to sell little seeds, so you can, seeds for carrots or whatever. But, are even those seeds, have those seeds been tampered with? Or those aren't natural seeds from the earth. It's mass production. It's a Dollar Tree. There are thousands of, are there thousands? No, I don't know if there are thousands of Dollar Trees, but.
Yeah, there are. If you're in Massachusetts right now, I'm in Louisiana, we have a few Dollar Trees. Yeah, they're all over the place.
So are those seeds, are those natural seeds that are coming from the earth or whatever? But no, I feel like those, they had to have been tampered with. And that's just I guess the phrase I'm using
I'll
for.
go a step further. I say that, half the meat, and I pose this question to anybody. How many McDonald's in one state do we
Crazy.
have?
Crazy.
How many do we have in one city?
Yep.
Now how many states we have? You know what I mean? And how many cities in each state?
Oh yeah.
Now let's look at the Walmarts, and then we got Sam's, and we got Taco Bell, and then we got all these other things that serve meat. So the question is, where they getting all these cows from? Ain't no way in the world that we have that many chickens.
Well, that's why don't they inject them with something to, like, can't they?
I mean, they can inject it to make them bigger, with steroids and everything. But as far as
they can't mass produce chickens like they mass produce, burgers at the store. I mean, burgers at McDonald's. They can't create.
I mean, really think about it. People eating burgers every day, all day, every day, all day, every day, all day. How many cows, like how many cows do you think are alive? You know what I mean? To supply that demand.
No,
you know what I mean?
How do we even know that the beef that they're serving at the McDonald's is actually
beef?
The cow? Yeah, what if it's probably just a substitute of some sort? It must be.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like what?
Real good though. I'm not gonna lie. In my day, I've been known to eat a 20-piece by myself. So, but it's I try not to eat it that often. I mean, it's not really a normal thing in our house anymore. But in my drinking days, it was. But that's what I mean. Like they got us by the, they got a hold on us.
By the cojones.
And they're cheap, and it tastes good.
Yeah, McDonald's.
I don't even eat McDonald's burgers. It's been like years since I've eaten them. Now I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I get their fries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fries are good.
Yeah, they're fries.
Like they're all the same size, and like they're just all look the same. And it just when I go, we got this convenience store, Cumberland Farms, and they sell little bananas 2 for $1. It's just a convenience store, but all the bananas look exactly the same. Like the same green near the stem, really yellow. And then if there's all green ones, they all look the same. And I can't help but think that this is, like, I want to say clone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
What if what they're showing us in the movies, as far as how like in Resident Evil and all these other movies that show cloning facilities and stuff like that? What if it's not the humans that they're cloning, but the food that they're feeding the humans? See how they had those humans in mass. I'm talking not just mass production, and even in the Matrix, how they had them in those pods, but those pods were like a whole city and a half. You know what I mean? A whole state maybe long, filled with or people in these incubators to keep them alive, to serve their purpose as far as to be a battery, or a cog for the wheel, for the machine, to maintain balance in this artificial matrix, And
really,
like I said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just agreeing. It definitely is artificial. That's the perfect word for this day and age we're living in. It's very artificial.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's so artificial, and it's sad to see that so many people are like kind of blinded by the world, and everything that's offered to us is like it's really like an illusion, and it's just so sad to see that people. It's so hard just for us to go back to nature and just be with nature and be one with nature and think about natural. We're so just, I don't know, we are so plastic
I
nowadays.
remember when George Bush was president, and he was like, "You don't want to live by the law of the jungle." You know, he tried to make nature seem so glamour. Don't you know, like don't we're not going to do that. You know, we're going to do these laws that that govern our corporations. You know, and this is what I heard him say. You know, I don't know what he really said, but to me, he was saying this is what keeps our corporations in check, and you simpletons, you peasants,
Yeah.
in check. You know, to keep you in line. So we're going to do this law. Don't follow him, but the law of nature tells us to love one another and keep one another in mind. I'm coming. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta get back to nature. Right? I think.
Whenever I think of anything, babe, you know that I always think of, can this be made by nature and man, not like machine and man, but like nature and man.
Right, like man just uses natural products to create something. Yeah.
Right. I try to think of things like that. So, like, what I remember what I was saying about my trainers is they taught me that on the ingredients label of any package, if you can't understand what the ingredients say, you most likely shouldn't be, putting it into your body or whatever. But if you read the ingredients and it's all, things that you can pronounce and read and understand, then, it's probably okay for you. So that's something I always think about whenever I, purchase anything at the store or whatever.
Yeah, that's good advice for anybody who's trying to eat healthy, like do the right thing as far as like ingesting food. Definitely, because like people don't know, like you said, people don't know. It's hard for people to not eat meat. It's hard for people to stop eating dairy products and stuff like that.
It's hard for people to even blasphemy. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Oh, you millennials. That's what my dad says. You know, he doesn't hear it.
Yeah, like my cousin called me. Well, forget that. She didn't call me. We were at my auntie's house. I don't know if it was for a Christmas holiday or something, but we were all there, and we were around the I think we were in my cousin's room, and we were sitting around the TV, and she's like, "Dang, cuz, you lost all that weight. How you did it?" I'm like, "You're not gonna do it." She said, "No, because I'm really trying to lose weight. I'm tired of being a plus size. I want to be whatever." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "I'll tell you, but I'm telling you, you're not gonna do it." She's like, "Tell me." So I became a vegetarian. She said, "Oh no, I need my meat." Like she had to have it. I said, "Well, you asked me, and I mean, this is the quickest way." I told her, I said, 6 to 7 weeks, and you're gonna be a changed woman. And these diets that they give us, that take 6 or 7 months. You know what I mean? It's just to keep you paying for that bullshit as what they call a routine. You know what I mean? And pay for that product. That's all you're doing. What I did, I just I just stopped eating meat and milk and all this other stuff and cheese and all that.
Right.
I was just eating fruits, nuts, grain, vegetables. I made smoothies. You know what I mean? I sun gazed. I earthed. I planted my feet. I did all this stuff. And it like 6 or 7 weeks, not even 2 months. I was small. People thought I was smoking crack.
Oh my gosh! And you know what? That's always the first thing they say. She on that cracked out diet, but it's true.
Yeah.
And I recently had a child, and I was able to. I was able to drop any baby weight or whatever through my diet. I didn't really have to do much exercising, but just people don't believe me. They say, "Oh, how'd you lose all that weight? You just had a baby." And I just say like, oh, I don't really eat meat. You know, I have close to a dairy free, and I really only drink water. So I just kind of try to eat really clean, and you'd be surprised at, you know, how much weight you can lose or how, whatever. Obviously building muscle is good. I'd like to get back in the gym for real, but diet definitely plays. My trainers taught me diet is like 70% or something. Maybe I shouldn't say the percentage because I'm not sure, but they said diet is a big portion.
Yeah, you know, me just stop drinking sodas alone. I lost a lot of weight.
Exactly. Yep.
And Master P, man, I want to touch on the vegan side, man, because we're over here going in on that. I know you a vegan,
first of all, thanks for having me. And who was that with you?
It's my wife to be, brother.
Okay, Queen, nice to meet you.
Yes. She's just stepped out real quick just to go and see what was good today, but she'll be right back.
No doubt. Well, I mean, I don't know where you want me to start on the vegan tip. I mean, it's just there's so many angles to it. So you let me know what you want me to talk about.
Masterpiece. I'll introduce you to my wife, Marlena. Marlena, Masterpiece.
Hi.
Hey, Marlena. I hope you're having a pleasant night.
Thank you. You too. Well, the build and I, James, we we're switching up the diet and our grocery shopping here in the house, and we're trying to, and to be honest, we haven't done much research on like the vegan life or like the proper vegan, but we have been able to like eliminate meat for the most part. You know, we do indulge, a couple times here and there, but in our normal grocery shopping, there's no meat. But, I don't really know what question I'm going towards. I guess basically we're like new to the vegan world. I don't know if we'd call ourselves vegan, but we're conscious of, what we purchase and what we give to our children and all that. We need some recipes for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because we definitely do crave that, I guess it'd be like a heaviness from the meat, like that heaviness that we've been used to.
Feeling,
that full feeling that you can only get so much from beans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Okay, well, let me just break it down like this. There's no right way to start. The right way to start is by saving a life. Oftentimes when you save somebody's life, you're putting yourself at risk. And a lot of people feel that way. They're like, okay, well, if I don't eat the cow, then I'm gonna suffer. But once you relieve yourself of that negative karma, your whole world opens up in ways that it's hard to explain. I mean, I've helped definitely by now over 50, 60 people make their way into the transition to veganism, or at least vegetarianism. I would say if one was to try to do the step-by-step approach to completely quit the dairy before the flesh, because the dairy affects the mothers of the animals, the mothers and the children. And that's something that is felt universal. I mean, like when when religions destroy the mother, we feel it, and then the animals feel it. But there are some religions that keep that alive. Like, in Hinduism, they don't eat the cow. It's sacred, and the cow was traditionally known as a woman. Now, the mucus causing effects of the dairy is like times 10 of that to flesh. In fact, there's a lot of people, like say in the northern regions, who don't really have much access to dairy, but they do have access to flesh, like seals and fish, and they're doing all right.
Then you said the dairy causes mucus, you said?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's something I learned throughout, in my earlier years while I was in high school, when I started performing and started singing. And one of the main tips they give you is before performance, or even hours before you are to perform, is to not have any dairy product. There are certain things in your diet you shouldn't have because it does create mucus, especially if you're, you know, a singer, you need your pipes, or you play an instrument and all that.
That's 100% true. And if you take that advice and you stretch it out over the long term, and if you know, if you say it's not good to eat before a performance, well then we have to think of ourselves as performers, like all the time. We're always performing, you know, for our families, for our friends. And the mucus, I mean, if you're always stuffed up and blowing your nose and and got it in your throat, then these are subtle problems that will manifest into deeper problems later. Because if the mucus stays in a place for too long in your body, it starts to solidify. We all know how when we blow our nose, it's runny, but if we leave it in there, it'll start to crust up. Now, the mucus that is in our muscles, that is collecting in our arteries, in our intestinal walls, in our brain, if we let this sit for too long and we don't move it, then it will solidify into cysts and tumors. Okay, the tumor, the cyst, it's all mucus. Cataracts in the eyes causing blindness, mucus. Candida, you know, it's acidic. It's because of the mucus. The mucous membrane is our lymphatic system, and it's supposed to flow through our body freely like a river. But everybody knows once you cut a river off, and when you have a pond, that pond becomes rancid. Mosquitoes start laying their eggs. Beavers start coming in there and start defecating in there and building their homes and all that. So we got to think of our bodies as a flow of life, and we got to keep the flow open. And so dairy is definitely the number one thing to quit when you want to rid yourself of the mucus. Now, the flesh has bacteria in it that cannot be cooked out. You know, there's main worms like hookworms and ringworms that, you know, will die under certain heats, but there are larvae and eggs, microscopic pathogens that are inside of the muscle fibers, and the muscle is blood. So, you know, even if you're saying, oh, well, I cooked it till there's no more blood, that's false. It is blood. The muscles are blood. And so you're really just cooking it up to a scab. And that's why the meat turns brown, like a scab.
Wow.
Okay. Now, when you eat meat, you cannot digest it. You do not feel full. Now, okay, there is a recognition in your brain that says, I'm having too much noxious substances. I'm going to make them feel hungry so they stop eating. That is a defense mechanism. It's called provision and prevision. The prevision takes it in and says, okay, I'm going to use this. Then the provision says, oh shit, backup plan. This is toxic to us. Get it out of the body. So what does it do? It creates water. We become inflamed. When you get a burn on the stove, the first thing that fills up is water. And people want to pop that sack, but that water is the healing. So we got to keep well hydrated. Coconut water. Coconut water has the ability that when it goes through your system, in your stomach, into your intestines, and through your body, it is still alive and electrical when it passes through your heart. It's the only substance that does this, that's known right now. Other than highly alkalized water from water ionizer, which is very expensive, or coconut water. Coconut water will still be alive once it passes through your heart ventricles.
Now, is coconut is like the thing? Is coconut like what we could survive on?
Yes, you can use coconut water as an IV. If you lose blood, or if you're in the hospital and they put that IV in you, you could actually take a young coconut, one of the green ones with no jelly in it, you know, very fresh water, and you can actually put that into your veins. And
there's coconut oil, like the greatest thing for your skin. You can use it in your hair. Like, it's just coconut is like is it like a superfood or a super?
It's definitely a superfood. It grows so high that the water has to travel so far up it that it distills itself. It distills it, so it's the cleanest water on earth. So it is a superfood. Babies can literally, survive off of it, and I have to go right now, but I can come back in about 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna leave my thing open, let you guys build, and I'll be back in 10 minutes. Is that cool?
That's awesome.
No problem.
Okay. Peace. I'll be back.
Peace. Yeah, man, Master Peace, man. It's always a pleasure to have him on the show, man. He's, plethora of gems.
Sounds like he knows his stuff.
Always.
Man, does sounds. He does. This is what he does. He got his own channel. I'm pretty sure everyone viewing this is already subscribed to his channel. But if you're not subscribed, because he got some gems. Jaren was. Let's tell you, babe. Like Jaren was he's the one who made the song. This is him right here.
Very good song. Very catchy. Yeah.
Believe is
I like it.
Called.
I like it a lot.
We're gonna be making like flat Earth music, like conscious music, and he's gonna be one of the forefront, like leading artists. Or what we want to happen, because like we talked, Bro Sanchez, you was on the pit. He said, we're gonna be making this music together, so you already know. I
think it's so, sorry to insert myself, in the conversation, but I feel like it's just so funny that all of you fellas in the conscious community here all do music. I feel like that is a very cool coincidence. I mean, Bro Sanchez, Jerry in there, and does anybody else?
Me.
You. And all the other people, I'm sure.
Masterpiece does music.
Yeah, that's great.
Danny does music.
Y'all are creative.
Legendary does music. There's a lot of people that do other things too, besides music, that can contribute to this too. As far as like the advertisements side,
the marketing and branding, all that.
Uber was talking about how he could do that, the marketing and branding. David was talking about how he can help out with the visuals, with the graphics and the drawing, the logos and stuff. So yeah, man, this is a lot that it's crazy because like all these people that's involved, like they all got all this creative talent. And what we was touching on earlier was how the elite, they use art, and they use art to influence the masses for a long time. So think about it, like in this ages when art itself. Oh, what's up, Danny? When art itself was a thing that was like very popular. Like if you did a piece, you was looked at as a celebrity. Like the Da Vinci's. Come on, help me out.
Picasso.
Yeah. They were famous. Yeah, they were famous, and they were like the celebrities of today,
right?
Because of their artistic contribution, and they had a lot of hidden messages inside of their paintings and stuff. And it's the same thing as like today with movies and songs.
Mm-hmm.
So where I'm going with that is like what we do with our music. It's kind of like the same thing. We're painting the path. We're setting the path for the future of our children. Like her, like look at her, like like so she's gonna grow up listening to the music. But what music do we want her to listen to? Do we want her to listen to what we grew up on, or do we want her to listen to music that we make that's positive? That and we're gonna be her biggest influence in the first place. You know what I mean? So if we understand that by making this music, we're making a better world, we're making a better place to live for her and her future children. That's even makes it even more special. You know what I mean? And what makes it even more and more special is we got people like Danny, Masterpiece, Jared, Bro Sanchez.
You've been exposed.
Dread from You Been Exposed. We got all these people, man, that's willing to help out and be creative, and spread that message of truth. because yeah, man.
Well, I've actually had gotten into a discussion earlier in the week with somebody talking about, the next generation of children and whatnot. And, I feel like we kind of got lost this past generation. I know that my younger siblings, their generation is, they're kind of bad, for lack of a better term, some badass kids. But I do feel like our generation now, like James and I, like, approaching, the 30s and all that, that we can get it back, and teach our children. I'm a new mother. I can teach my daughter, how to be conscious and, have values like you all. And I think we can get that under control.
Oh
now.
yeah, definitely, hell yeah. Because
I'm just saying, my sisters, they're bad. Like,
Yeah.
those kids are bad.
Yeah, anybody that's like,
they walk with their heads down in the phone. They don't walk with their head up. They don't.
Right.
I don't make eye contact with that generation. They're not trying to hear it. They got it all figured out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got it. But with our kids, your daughter's 4, and we got a new one, and we can teach them, and they can know.
Right.
And our kids can reach what the people that we can't, the generation that we can't touch.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a good point.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you teach a child not to care about what anyone thinks and always go, question everything and, go on your own intuition,
right.
They will never let nobody, sway them any kind of way, and they'll be able to say, hey, well, look at it this way, you know what I mean? And be more persuasive in a good way and not for bad intentions, to get the rest of the people to understand, man, like, we've been duped and we need to, get this show on the road before they get theirs, and theirs isn't pretty.
Yeah, man. I have to agree with you 10,000,000%. We do. We got to get there because, like you said, think about it. Our kids. We get our kids to pass this information down to our kids, and in the next 50 years, man, we could see some real change, man. We can live to see it too if we take care of ourselves.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Taking care of ourselves. I try to, encourage everybody. Like, even my wife, I know I get on her nerves sometimes. Like, baby, like when my friend just died of leukemia, and I was like, man, look, I think I'm ready to go back vegan. But I was already talking about it before, But I'm like, man, I want you to come with me. I want my children. I don't want none of us to have to go through what his family is going through and what he went through. Because I'm sure it was a painful process. And the crazy thing is, I told him, I said, bro, if you never listened to me before, listen to me now. I let you know, bro. Like any process, anything, get rid of it. Anything if you got a habit, get rid of it. Smoking cigarettes. I know you smoke cigarettes. Stop that shit. I was trying to give him all kind of, and then come to find out his mother-in-law was telling me that, she was trying to do the same thing. So she's asking me, like, have you ever heard of Dr. Sebi? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've been heard of Dr. Sebi. That's the information I got from him is what helped me, get my menu together as far as what I should eat, and shouldn't eat. And she said, well, yeah, I was trying to tell him the same thing, but some people they're going to do what they want to do anyway, regardless of what we say. But that's when we're coming to the realization that, we should just focus on the people that already have the understanding and the will to want to.
Right. Focus on the people who are ready for it, because I'm sorry to hear about your friend who passed. And fortunately, I've had a few people in my life who have been able to beat the disease. And one of my close boys, he beat it, but after he beat it, he was still growing his hair back. And I had I've been smoking cigarettes for years, and he had smoked too. You know what I mean? But he had just beat his thing. He was feeling good, but he went in my purse and took my pack of cigarettes and threw it in the trash, and we got into a big fight. I said, take them out. You know what I mean? I wasn't ready to give up the habit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're not going to receive the information until you're ready. Even if you store it in your mind in the way back, and then maybe 2 years when you are ready, you'll be, oh shit, I remember. It all is clicking now. You know what I mean? But you have to be ready to hear the message. You got to be able to come with an open mind, an open heart, understanding, empathy. You just got to be ready.
Yeah, man. And one thing I want to touch on it on the flip side, like, it does suck because, like, my father, he listens to Alex Jones. He eats meat.
Yeah.
He gets sick very often. And it's just very real possibilities that, any day, like his day, you know what I mean? Like, it just sucks, man. It's just like, it's just a reality. And like, as much as you want to tell somebody, like, this is what's good for you, they're not going to see it unless they're ready to see it. And that's the thing that sucks about it, bro. You can't just program into their fucking head.
Well, you've brought up the idea of cutting out meat to multiple people, and they literally have laughed at you. They wouldn't even let you finish your sentence. People, yeah. It's crazy. I couldn't even imagine saying to my dad, stop drinking milk now. He'd be like, oh, you millennials. I just have to wait until my younger siblings are old enough and presented the information to them. And my dad is stuck in his ways, but I think that a lot of people from that time are stuck in their ways. That era. I'm not going to say like the age and all that, because I'm not like scientist or whatever. Like, I have education. I have some college education, but I'm not, I don't have a degree or anything. My grammar may not be,
but you know what? This is the good thing about the bill, though, because this isn't about PhDs, nothing with 3 letters. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care about that here. We care about truth and observation. Observation is everything here on the bill. For everybody, we got like so many people here that quote unquote aren't qualified, but can tell you truth. And a scientist that is a mainstream scientist like Neil deGrasse Tyson on fucking Netflix and all that, these niggas will lie to your face.
It's hard. Anything on Netflix can you really trust? I always question. So there's some entertaining things on there, and I enjoy couple of the documentaries, but you always question, can I trust this information? If it's mainstream, can I trust it? Yeah. History Channel, all that.
You could trust. Hey, Danny, Danny give us some truth. I'd rather listen to Danny all day. No, I'm not bashing you, bro, but I'm just saying I'd rather listen to Danny than Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know what I'm saying? Neil deGrasse Tyson ain't gonna do nothing but enslave you or continue your enslavement. You feel me?
And it's crazy. The only time I stopped watching documentaries, you know what I mean? Because it's too Hollywood for me. But the only time I seen Neil deGrasse Tyson is on a Facebook post. That's the only time I ever see him. I never see him. I don't pay attention to him. Like, I only see him when I have to, like when I'm scrolling.
Yeah, right. He's a joke, man. Yo, Masterpiece, what was you about to touch on?
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of like mainstream and Netflix and all that, one popular documentary that's really, like everybody's talking about is What the Health. I'm sure you guys have seen or heard of that. Yeah. That one, I gotta say, out of all the ones that I've seen, on health, that is the best one by far, because mainstream, because it basically tells you to go vegan. It tells you that the meat and the dairy is rampant and on your body, and it's just something that you got to give up. So I recommend showing that to anybody. Also for elder folk, there's this great YouTube speech by this like 50, 60-year-old woman who said it's never too late to go vegan. You're never too old to go vegan. And that's something that I showed my mom, and she really resonated with, because she's elder. And so that's two good ones right there. You're never too old to go vegan, and what the hell.
Yo, I got a question, bro. We was touching on something, me and Jaren, right, about GMOs and like about how everybody eating the GMOs. Like, say if somebody was born like 1997, right, and they've been eating GMOs their whole life, and all of a sudden they turned on to what's called organic. Would their bodies reject that because they're so used to the GMO? And also, we was talking about in relation to how you look, like, you know, like a GMO pepper will be like have its color, or apple, whatever. Anything GMO could, like, it looks like it's lasts longer than any organic fruit or vegetable, anything that's organic. You know, like anything that's, you feel me? Like, so like if you ingest, you're always eating organic, right? Could you? Because Jared was saying like he doesn't look as old or younger, like kind of looks the same since he was from years ago. And we was thinking like, well, maybe because that's like the GMOs, like kind of like preserving the youth in a sense, because like, you know, that saying, you are what you eat. Like, what I want to get your take on that, because you wasn't there for that part of the show.
Okay, I understand it very well. So this is a thing. We are a frequency. Okay, we are one big song. Okay, everybody's body, everybody's the way there's quote unquote systems in their body. There's no bodily systems. You know, that's just like countries and nations being separated. You're one whole song, and that is the beauty about it, is that it is able to change with the times. You know, you have to keep on changing. You have to keep on progressing. Will your body reject natural foods? Never, because that's like saying, you know, once you quit the meat, your body's going to reject the fruits and vegetables, which it never does. It always accepts life. The beautiful thing about this plane is that life always finds a way to thrive. You know, even if you are filling it with meat and dairy, it will find a way to survive. So I know what you're saying about the GMO with preserving you. The thing is that it'll preserve whatever state you're in. So if you're in a state of negativity or sickness, it'll preserve that for you.
Right.
The thing is that when you get off of the GMOs, or even if you keep some GMOs in your I mean, it's really difficult in today's day and age to live without any GMOs, because they're so subtle. And a lot of places, you know, like we were building on before in the other build, you got to get your potassium, because that's very important to have in your cell's environment. You got to have protein. You got to have your calciums. So of course there's an optimal way to get it, but I would say the stress of, you know, arduously searching for it and worrying yourself at the grocery store every time will do you more harm than just, you know, pleasantly going through and saying, okay, well, this is a fruit, this is a vegetable, we're going to eat it. Even if you're eating orange carrots, even if you're eating big bananas, it's still better than meat, dairy, and eggs. So what we were saying about before with the coconut water is that it's an excellent cleanser. In Jamaica, they call it a mover, because they understand intrinsically that you're not really ridding yourself of anything unless you completely abandon it. So if you have oxtail and jerk chicken and curry goat, you're accumulating mucus, but the coconut water moves that mucus so it doesn't stagnate and you know, turn into a cancerous tumor or something like that. So what I would recommend for everybody out there is to go to your Asian markets, because you know, they got huge exports and imports set up wherever they go. You know, they always click up in communities, and they make their churches, they make their grocery stores with their mushrooms and their Fiji apples and all the stuff that you can find in the Orient or around the tropics. And that's where I go to get a lot of my Caribbean food. Mangoes, small bananas, papaya, chocho, edos, yam, things like these. And and that, like we were saying before, there's no wrong way to start it. As long as you set your intent on becoming a vegan, then you're gonna naturally want to look up YouTube videos, and I recommend one video called "The Greatest Speech You Will Ever Hear" by Gary Yourofsky. That's Gary, last name Yurovski. Gary Yourofsky. He's actually like the foremost speaker on animal rights, because that's what it is too, right? It's animal rights. We're, a lot of people in the conscious community or elsewhere, they talk about slavery and human slave trafficking, like in Libya today. If that's even real, it could be a hoax, which I'm leaning towards. But the fact that we cry out against child trafficking, child labor, and human trafficking, yet we do the same thing to our animal counterparts who are way more innocent because they can't speak. They don't have a voice. They don't know what voting is. They don't know what protesting is. They just are scared straight. And when you eat their meat, you become afraid. When you get afraid, adrenaline pumps through your body. If you were to stay in a state of fear, that adrenaline would actually decay and decompose your muscles. It's very toxic, adrenaline. There is actually an anti-adrenaline hormone that your brain secretes after the adrenaline to calm you down and to flush your muscles of the adrenaline. Unfortunately, the animals don't get that luxury to calm back down and to realize, hey, it was just a dream or whatever. They're constantly living in the fear right up to the slaughter. So the adrenaline is actually staying within their muscles. And when you eat that contains their fear, the heightened adrenaline, the breaking down constituents of the adrenaline. That's all going into you. So what would be the best counter measure? Well, that would be sacks of sunlight, which we call fruits. Fruits and berries are the #1 things that we should eat. They're the easiest to digest. They have the most water in it. So it is hydrating you. It's hydrating your cells and your cell environment. So things like watermelon, coconut, any melon, it's great first thing in the morning. Any citrus, grapefruit, lemon, lime, orange, anything like that is great in the morning. And then as your body warms up, you have more warm water and more watery fruits. Now you can get into the more solid fruits like the avocados and the pumpkins and the squashes. And then at nighttime or middle day when the sun's high, you should have your most solid fruits and then ease back up in the night. You should go more watery at the night, soups, drinks, shakes, and things like that. Sour sops, sugar apples, things like that. The reason is because digestion is the hardest function for your body to perform, believe it or not. You can breathe just fine. And if you don't breathe for 5 minutes, you're dead. You can drink water and that's just fine. That goes right into you. And if you don't drink for 7 days, you're dead. But you can go without eating food for a month, 40 days. And actually, you'll actually feel a lot better if you were to fast, like water fast. So the food is what is killing us, literally. So you gotta choose the easiest food to break down. That's why when you go to the gym, and you guys were talking about working out. If you eat before the gym, now your brain is in a sympathetic mode. Now you're in a crave, I'm weak kind of mode, and you can't lift as much when you just ate. So that's why you drink water at the gym. And then right when you get home, you fill yourself up with the proteins, the beans, the brown rice, the quinoa, the teff, the kamut, coconut, things like these, kale stalks, any green leaf, the stalk has all the protein in it. All right.
That's good to remember. The stalk, any green leaf, the stalk has all the protein in it. That's deep right there.
Yeah, because a lot of people just destalk it. They pull the kale right off of the stalk. They throw the stalk away,
Right.
And they just deal with the leaves. But what I like to do is I peel the leaf off the stalk, and then I chop the stalk up in very fine, and then I just add it into my salad, so it's like a little crunch. Or I save the stalks up for a juice or for the blender, and the juicing and the blending will actually open up the cells, because the plant cells walls is very tough. So it actually opens up the cellular walls of that, making it more bioavailable for you. And people are way too concerned about protein. Too much protein in the blood creates nitrogen, and that creates gas bubbles. And we all know that bubbles are not good to have in your blood. So the protein craze is another way to keep us animalistic, eating the meat for the protein. Well, where do you get your protein from? Well, I get my protein from the same places that the ox and the bull get theirs from, and the gorilla and the elephant. You see, you would never use a carnivore to plow your field all day, because they don't have that long-lasting endurance from.
Wow, what a great point.
Yeah. From the green leafy vegetables give your body the oxygen. That is your deodorant. Okay, the more green leaves you eat, the more filled with air your body is and your cells are, and the less you stink, quite frankly. So, I mean, could you ever imagine a tiger pulling a plow all day? Maybe it'll take 5 steps and then just lay down and sleep. Carnivores hunt the weak and the young, because that's the only thing that they can catch. They're not catching the long distance runners at the front of the herd. And that's what we got to think of ourselves as. We got to think of ourselves as the grazers, the antelope. All right, eat all day. Just munch all day. Don't worry about protein. Get your nuts, get your fats. The fats is the hardest thing to digest. It takes the longest. But it also but the reason for that is because it carries nutrients through your body. If you imagine like a lifeboat, like a blow-up boat, if you're on a lazy river and you're just chilling on the lazy river on your little blow-up raft and you're going down the river, if you're a nutrient, then that blow-up bubble is the fat. And the fat takes the nutrients and it pushes it further into our bodies. So if you're gonna have like a nutritional shake, or if you have a big salad, get some fats in there. How can you do that? Coconut, avocados, nuts. These things will help deliver the nutrition that you're taking like tenfold.
Wow.
Interesting. Very good.
Drop a lot of gems, man. I'm telling you. What would you say would be the best exercise?
That would be like what is it called? Like when you go cross country skiing, like pole walking, like when you have the poles and you have the long skis.
Okay.
That is a full body arm leg workout. That is, I would say, second best to swimming, because
swimming is the ultimate. Like,
yes,
in your body.
Swimming is the ultimate in a saltwater pool, of course, or obviously the ocean or the lake is the best. But chlorine pools, that was created
what's the difference between a chlorine like the pools? Like, okay, because the act of swimming, like, no, I'm not challenging you. I just want you to break this down, because this is important. Because you mentioned salt water is best. Like, so what is the difference, or what is the benefit of swimming in a saltwater condition opposed to a regular pool condition, like at the YMCA or whatever?
Okay, well, the chlorine is toxic. It's highly toxic. They use chlorine gases on the enemy in World War I, where they actually and they use hydrogen peroxide for the Allies. Okay, hydrogen peroxide is amazing. It's in breast. It's naturally occurring in breast milk. Hydrogen peroxide occurs as your first line of offense in your body when you get an infection or an outside source. Hydrogen peroxide is key. I recommend everybody get some. We can go into that later. But the chlorine is highly, highly toxic. I mean, you can smell it and it's offensive and it burns your eyes. Now the salt, although it is devoid of its nutrients, because it's bleached out. It's not like that pink salt. It's not like sea salt. it's very manufactured salt because there's sensitive equipment in the pools and stuff like that it needs a certain amount of saline in it. But what it does is it actually you when you get out of a saltwater pool, you notice like you're slick, you're slimy. It's hydrating. Now of course salt takes moisture, and you don't want to be in a saltwater pool for too long. But it is definitely like if my baby, when she learns how to swim, I only want to look for a saltwater pool because it's just simply the fact that the chlorine was used as a weapon, and it's very highly toxic to our bodies.
I used to go my community, right? I used to go to this place called Denison Memorial, and we used to go to this place. It was like a public pool in a distant town, and we used to go there for field trips every summer. And to think about that, what you're saying right now, and oh man, it sucks. We was taking little kids to the pool every
it's and look how we turned out. We've turned out more conscious. And to touch briefly about what you were saying about your dad. I'm going through the same thing. My dad is hardcore, Jamaican, he loves to big up his Rasta pride. But the thing about Jamaicans is that Rastas are actually full vegan. Actually, they're hardcore vegan. They don't eat anything that comes from a package typically. When you go back to Yard or Jamaica, and you go to the hills with the Rastas, they're growing all their food. They won't venture down into the town much and get your prepackaged soy or your chips, even though they're vegan or whatever. They stay away from all that. They may use their eggs or their hens and chickens' eggs for their dreadlocks, but they'll never ingest it. And so it's tough to see the people that reared us not be able to break out of that kind of that habit, that addiction, because it is an addiction at this point. Mm-hmm. Just to see how mad they get. It's like you telling somebody that you threw their cigarettes away. When I was young, I used to throw my dad's cigarettes away, and he used to want to bust my ass for it. But we're trying to save them. Now, Dr. Valentine taught me that the stress of trying to save your mom and dad is killing you more, and it's taking life away from you. There's got to be a certain threshold to where you say, you know what, I tried, I told them everything I could, and sit comfortable with that. Sit comfortable with the fact that they took the time to listen, and you told them everything you possibly could. If after that it doesn't happen, well, then that's their fate. But the job of the parent is to always make sure that their child grows up smarter than them and more advanced than them. So it's only natural for us to feel this way and to be in this predicament. And it's actually a sign that we're growing as a species.
Right. Yeah, and what's crazy is when I talked to my father today, he's gonna watch this episode and he's probably gonna be mad at me, but you know what, whatever.
Don't say it.
I'm gonna say it because it's real. We have to talk about it. No, we have to talk about it, Mark. And he said, he told me, he said, you know what? He said, I'm very proud of you because you're open. Your third eye is open, and that's very good. And he said, where you're trying to be, I already know. Well, where I'm already at. What? Yeah, that's what he told me. Yeah. And so that was it was an egotistical comment. And you know what I did after he said that? He said, where you're at, I already am. Where you're trying to be, I'm already am. And I see where you're trying to go. He said, don't worry, you'll get there one day. That's what he told me. And wow. Yeah, and you know what? I love my dad, and I ain't gonna take nothing away. I understand, but you know what? He believes in Jesus and shit like that. And I try to explain to him, like, what I went through was as far as like, tricking your subconscious mind in order to, alter your reality. And by doing that, telling your subconscious mind to feel, well, not telling, but like pretty much going through situations in your mind and feeling what that feels like in order to experience that reality when you wake up. Like I try to explain to him my whole experience with that,
Did
and
he
like
understand?
I don't think so, because like, and I really don't think so, but it's okay. Like I say this all the time. Everybody is in their own.
Right. And that's why my dad is stuck in his ways too, but I just love him. I love him while he's here. I love him and I respect him and I respect his views and he respects me and it's all good.
That's the most important thing, is keeping the love there. You know what I mean? I mean, recognizing somebody's faults. Like my dad smokes, and he's told me year after year after year he's gonna quit, and I've accepted the fact that he likes to smoke, and you know what? If that makes him feel less stressed out and come home a happier person, then let him do that. You know what I mean? Because it would be great if he got off the cigarettes, great if he got off the meat and the dairy, but everybody's life path is their life path. Everybody's experience is their experience. He has another life. He's going to come back again. And with my stewardship, at the end of this life, he's going to die more conscious. Now, one thing that I want to say is you will never be able to be to your full conscious potential if you're eating meat, dairy, and eggs. And that might sound like crazy because like I don't know what Bruce Lee ate. I don't know what Michael Jackson ate. I don't know what Krishnamurti ate or Malcolm X. But whatever their heights were, they would be 10 times that if they went fully vegan, because our nerves and the way we take in information and the way we feel. If you imagine you have wires, which are your nerves, and you dip them in rubber or plastic, you're not going to get that spark. You're not going to be able to transfer that spark. And that's what's happening now with our bodies. The mucus is wrapping around our nerves, and it's making us feel less. It's shutting us off to a higher levels of information. It's shutting off our compassion with one another. But as soon as you clear that out, that mucus out from your nervous system, and you get it out of your blood, like for me, I've been vegan for 7 years now. So that's one complete cycle, because we live in cycles of 7. So you're never older than 7. Every cell renews itself in 7 years. Your blood renews itself every 4 months. It looks like Flat Earth knows that. Your lungs renews itself every, I think, like 7 months or something. Your skin is renewing itself constantly every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So we are constantly being refreshed. And when you have gone a cycle without that mucus, you can mess up and eat an apple pie and you didn't read the directions, the ingredients, and you found out there's a little bit of whey in it. Whey is a big thing. WHEY. Stay away from that. That's comes from eggs and milk. When you have cleared your body out of that and your cellular environment out of that, well, then what happens? The new cells that are being born, that you see right now, our cells are dividing, right? And they're cloning each other and giving birth to new cells. But when that threshold happens, like every 4 months for the blood, your blood is coming from a completely new source from beyond, okay, or from within. And that gives your body a chance to be refreshed without that harmful environment. So you're actually creating a new you that, quote unquote, has never eaten meat. So we got to start thinking ourselves as cycles of 7. If you're 28 years old, well then perfect. Next year is a perfect time to start. You know what I mean? If you're 8 years old, well now you got 7 years ahead of you to correct it. And it'll become easier after every successive cycle. So yeah, it just, the nervous system and the mucus, it all plays a role on how we feel and how we treat each other.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend are gonna do a 3-day water fast, 72 hours, and we're gonna try to I'm gonna try to build myself up to do a 1-month water fast.
Nice.
And
water feast.
It takes a lot of water fast. Yeah, and it takes a whole lot of willpower. They say the 3 day is hard. A 7 is even harder. A 15 is almost impossible. So a 30 is like, you know, running a marathon.
What about I've heard of breatharianism. How real is
Breatharianism?
I mean, hey,
Yes.
I don't know if Shaq I don't know if Shaq has read about this, but I'm not even into yoga. I've read of people. It's called the pranayama. It's a sect of yoga. Shaq didn't agree with what when I said that, but I see it as like a stem of the unity in yoga, you know, and it's the breath of life. There's like multiple different ways of breathing and all these different things. And yes, supposedly there are monks who have lived 20 years only breathing air and drinking water.
Yes, and the further we degrade the air, the harder it is to extract the nutrients, the vital life essence out of the air, because we take in air through our nose. It should be our nose, because we get the filtration, and then we got the left and right, and then when it crosses paths in our nasal ways, that friction is actually titrating and synthesizing everything that your body needs. So the mouth breathing is very bad to mouth breathe. It's also very bad to lung breathe. I've done this, and I know that you guys can do it too. You guys can rewire your subconscious breath in order to draw it to the stomach, so you have belly breath. Now I don't breathe with my lungs anymore. I breathe with my belly all the time. Now with the breatharianism, the nutrients come in through our noses, and they feed our brain and our bodies. The brain feeds our body, but also we in that school of thought with the prana, there's also an entryway for subtle energies to enter through your tailbone and travel up your spine, and that's metaphysical. But so I don't want to go too much into that, because it's metaphysics, and people tend to kind of get out, lose their ear. But with the breatharianism, that's why they're spraying the air. That's why they're polluting. They don't care, because the more we need food, the more animalistic we are, and the more dependent we are on the system. And they GMO the foods, and they have Monsanto, so we need to shop. You know what I mean? They want to ruin our soil so that we can't grow our own food. So the liquidarianism is a step before breatharianism. Fruitarianism is a step before that. And the lowest thing you could be is a carnivore or omnivore. Now, it's very hard to go 3 days without food, I know. But there comes a time where it switches. And it might be different for everybody, but there's a time where it actually becomes easier. You may notice on the 5th day, you'll say, well, this is what I notice when I fast, is that you have so much time for different things. You will be shocked how much like eating takes up out of your day. You wake up, you look for something to eat. After you're done eating that, you got to clean it up, clean the dishes. Maybe you're lazy and you're like, oh, I'm so full. And then you got to think about your next meal. So you maybe go shopping, or you maybe put the stove on and start thawing your frozen stuff. You will literally save hours in your day from not eating food, and you will be so much more productive. You won't have that overfull feeling. You won't get those cramps. You will have that tummy ache. But remember, that tummy ache is your stomach shrinking back to the size it's supposed to be. Your stomach should not be bigger than a shot glass. You should not be drinking a huge glass of water, because it expands your stomach, and it creates it starts to evoke the acids to start flowing, which is dangerous for your stomach lining. We are eating too much. So there's going to be a time where, say, the 3rd day, it's so hard. The 4th day, oh my God, you want to give up. And then the 5th day, you're like, you know what? I'm not even thinking about food. It's 4 p.m. and I haven't even thought about food once. I've done my meeting. I did my homework, or I met up with this person. And then next thing you know, you're going to bed with a nice glass of warm water on an empty stomach, quote unquote, and you're feeling good. So there's a time where it actually starts to get easier. Sorry, Flat Earth, go on.
They'll tell us, I don't know about everybody else, but in my schooling, my middle school, they taught us that civilization is based upon food surplus. The fact that we know where our next meal is going to be allows us to be a civilization.
Yeah, well, that maybe that is what.
And I don't believe it, you know. And what I believe that goes with propaganda, you know. Like that's you saying what you were saying, you know. For instance, like we don't think about that. We don't think about how the time of our day that's used feeding ourselves. Shit, we ain't up but like 12, 13 hours, and we sleep what, a third of our lives. So how much of it is preparing meals and consuming meals unnecessarily?
Yeah, dead on point. That's another huge thing is about the sleep. I mean, we get tired and sleep way too much. You'll notice, when you give up the dairy, you're gonna have more energy. When you give up the flesh, you'll have even more. When you give up the really processed foods with a lot of salt and the sugar, you're gonna have even more energy. And when you fast, you won't even know what to do. And let's not even talk about enemas, because I know that the whole, butt play in the Black community and in any indigenous community, that butt play, that's something that you typically want to stay away from. But the enemas, you can go online on Amazon, get a $15-$20 enema bag with the hose, fill it up with nice warm water, put a couple drops of real lemon oil, high grade lemon oil, or grapefruit oil, whatever. Or you can just do pure water, and you let that whole bag go in you, and it might take a couple times, you know what I mean? But don't stop until you can get a whole bag in your intestines, and then hold it in, roll around, jump around, suck your stomach in and out, really agitate your colon, and then watch what comes out. You will see things that you're gonna see things. You're gonna see some things. but let me tell you that fecal matter that is sitting in your gut. Remember how we talked about the burn with the water? It goes to the burn, and when you get a blister, yes. That is happening constantly because we are constantly inflamed around the belly. You look at the Egyptian carvings on the wall, and you don't see tummies. You don't see big bellies. Because these people ate naturally, they were clean, had clean water, and they had enemas. Actually, they used gourds and like flax, flax and other types of stems, like a marijuana stem, a cannabis stem, and once it's dried out, it'll hollow out. So stems get hollow, and you can actually see depictions on walls in indigenous ancient cultures of them doing enemas with natural tools. Nowadays we have enemas that are quick and easy to use, so we do that, and I highly recommend it, because after that it's like you just drank a coffee. You have so much energy, you're buzzing. I the first time I did an enema, I was buzzing. I had this vibration going through my body, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So enema, you guys.
That also, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Couldn't that have also been a stimulation of the root chakra just through that act?
I don't like to yes, and I don't like to separate. I don't like to separate this system from that system. So it's all one whole thing. I mean, you brought up the root chakra, but guess what also is stimulated, and guess what also gets drained when you do an enema? Your sinuses.
Yeah, I was finna say that it's all connected to the lower and see. So there's what do they call it? The colon. The colon is like lower intestines and all sorts of shit. That part of the body, if you get all that removed through cancer and shit, you finna die. Like you'll live, but you won't live a life like a normal life. That's where all the filtration happens. That's where all the actual absorption of nutrients happens. Yes. That's where everything happens. So I'm feeling what you're talking about. I mean, it makes sense to me. I think that it's possible to do the same cleansing from above to have it cleanse below, but
it's not.
I understand what you're saying.
It's not, and I'll tell you why. when substances get heated up, your body naturally starts breaking these things down. So if you have, like I already talked about the coconut water, how it stays alive even after it passes through your heart. But after that, it starts to, break down into its constituent parts. When you go straight up the anus, and you just flush that water with the lemon oil or just the warm water, it's like you're literally hosing it down. It's like you getting a power washer and you're cleaning your garage. Now you could say, well, can't I just clean my garage by pouring water on the roof of my house? Well, yeah, you're gonna get some drips on your garage, but there's no comparison to taking the hose straight to the garage door yourself. And I'll tell you, you can do as many cleanses as you want through the mouth. You could take your psyllium husks with your chia seeds and your activated charcoal, which is great. Do that. But the enema, that two-way attack from the mouth and from the butt, that is the number one. And you'll see as soon as you take you pass your bowels after you do the enema. My sister is a testament to that. My mom and my dad and my girl is a testament to that.
I can buy that. I mean, as I think about it, my mom said that back in the old days, if you got sick, that's one of the first things they did was hit you up with the enema.
That's right. And a lot of, or like a colonoscopy, they'll go up, they'll check what's happening with the colon. Cause like you said, all the absorption of the nutrients happen in the colon. So if it's filled with mucoid plaque, and that's something that you guys want to look up, mucoid plaque, MUCOID plaque, and you see what comes out, it's like a film that encases your colon that doesn't smell. It doesn't stink. And it's rubbery. It doesn't break apart like feces would. It's a sack that you can lift up and hold. It's like the rubber tubing inside of a tire, literally. And there's certain protocols that you could take to get that out. But the enema is by far one of the quickest and most efficient and pain-free ways to do it. It's uncomfortable at first, but yeah. Enemas, baby. Look up enemas, look up cold showers, look up activated charcoal, all these things. This is a classic build, man. I'm going to share this on my page, for real.
I'm loving this build right now. Go ahead, bro. Jared got something to say. Go ahead, brother.
So I was going to ask Master Peace. So what you're saying is when we were to, if we were to put the enema in us, and the way you described that rubbery plastics-like substance, for what it sounds like you're saying, that is what's going to come out along with other stuff.
The protocol to get the mucoid plaque out it's a pretty rigorous one. If you were to go an enema today, you would remove your fecal matter that's like chopped up. Now, one thing that you really, I'm gonna get back to it, but one thing you want to really look at is your bowel movements, your poo. You can tell how you're doing inside by looking at your poo. This is why animals like dogs, they smell their poo. Cats, they smell their poo. They inspect it. Some of them even taste it. They have no X-rays. They have no doctors. They are their own doctors, so they inspect their own feces. So what happens is if you want your poo to be like bumpy, like it has to hold the shape of the colon. That means that you've got like a pretty good bowel movement now. If your poo shoots out, like slides out of you like a Play-Doh dispenser and it's straight and smooth like that, that means that you're not getting the colon wall out. That means that your colon wall is caked up and your poo is boring through the middle of that. And you're going to feel run down and tired, and you're not going to get the nutrient absorption. Another thing is that you want your poo to float, because if your poo floats, that means that it still has living plant oxygen still in it, the kale stalks, the kale leaves, the spinach, yada, yada, yada. And it's making it float. If your poo sinks to the bottom of the toilet, it's bad news. Also, you want it to hold an S shape. You want to see that curve of your colon. You want it to be nice and firm. That means it's not leaving much behind. Now, once you start having good defecations, good bowel movements, then and you're implementing the enemas, there's a very specific mucoid plaque protocol it's pretty new to the market because the technology is new. A lot of time we use psyllium husks or like chia seeds and activated charcoal to cleanse the side of our bowel walls, the colon. But there's this new, I guess you'd say, technology where they use palm tree fibers. Okay, now the palm tree fibers, it's a little bit bigger and it's a little bit harder for you to digest. So they get probiotics to pre-digest it, enzymes to pre-digest the palm tree fiber. Now it's pretty expensive. Not me because I'm in Canada, but not as expensive for you guys in America. And I can give y'all the name of it soon, a bit later on. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I don't have access to it right now. But if you type in remove mucoid plaque into YouTube, then you will see that the product that they're talking about. So when you're doing the enemas, to first give yourself like a pre-cleanse, and then you do this protocol where you take it through the mouth and it goes through you, and then enema on top of that, you're going to get something comes out of you that kind of looks like a rope. And my sister did it because she's struggling with weight, and I'm juicing for her nightly, and I'm going to Zumba classes with her. You know, I'm trying to keep her motivated. You know what I mean? She's got a wedding coming up, and what this product did for her, this colon cleanse, was serious. I mean, I hate to sound disgusting, but I care, right? So she would send me pictures of her feces at work, like, Corey, look what just came out of me. And I'd be like, damn, good job, you know what I mean? Because she's battling with it, she cries about it, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm a man and I can handle that. So yeah, the enema plus that colon cleanse is something that we gotta get on. We gotta get on it.
Yeah, because my what you're describing, you know, my stool, if you will, sometimes it floats, sometimes it's like smooth, you know what I mean? And sometimes, you know I have a pinched nerve, a sciatic nerve, you know, from driving. And I went to the hospital.
It's a troll, by the way. I don't know if y'all noticed. It's called Dread Been Exposed.
Yeah, yeah, I seen that dude. He was just hanging out for a while. Sorry to cut you guys off.
No, that's all good.
Go on with your poo, with the poo.
Yeah. But yeah, and I've been having pressure in that area, you know, constantly, you know, but it's not a pain, it's just aggravating. You know what I mean? So I went to the hospital to see what it was, and they said it's probably due to my sciatic nerve. But I'm like, but my poop is coming out a certain way. You know, sometimes it's bumpy, but sometimes it's like it looks, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. It'll range. I mean, sometimes you don't even know what you did. You know, sometimes you'll have a cocktail with like some concentrated papaya juice, or sometimes you'll just have a random salad or eat an apple, and that'll be enough to get your poo to float or to hold a good shape and its firmness. You know what I mean? But if you monitor it, if you watch it and you take conscious steps, okay, it's like, shoot, it didn't float, I gotta have more salads this week. Oh man, I didn't get the sides of the walls off, maybe I gotta have more citrus fruits, because citrus, you know what happens when you put lemon oil on grease, it just completely dispels it. So if we get that lemon peel oil with a nice big glass of water, warm water, and you drink that, then you're going to be doing more for your body than a doctor ever could, because that that when it's diluted in the water, then the oil particles get to spread out and go to your arms and your arteries and your legs and your inner thighs and your colon, and just work wonders, y'all. I'm telling you. The first thing when you wake up should be warm water and citrus. When you go to bed, try to drink some more citrus and warm water. You guys will love the results.
Lemon and water. I've been doing it for years. I agree. It changes you. Same with dropping the meat. I haven't been able to drop the dairy, man. I drink a lot of coffee, and that's the only thing I put in my coffee is milk. And man, almond milk don't work. I done tried it all, but I can't get through. I can't get away from the bitch ass dairy and its opiate fucking little compounds.
Yeah. yeah, it's tough. Well, like we said, it is an addiction, and chocolate milk is even worse. I saw a girl drinking chocolate milk today, and I said, doesn't she know that's just expired milk that's flavored? Did you know that over 50% of Americans think that chocolate milk comes from brown cows?
What?
That's true. Yeah,
Over
kids,
50%.
ask children in school. That's common for real.
Yeah. It's disgusting. It's disgusting how much little knowledge that we have. So, a few people that we can check out is, Dr. Laila Africa. He's really racist, you know what I mean? And but he's got a lot to share when it comes to food combining. He will tell you not to combine a melon with anything else. A melon is all you need. You don't need to eat a melon with something else.
Ooh, I got a melon story real quick while you're on this real quick. Can I tell a little
Yeah.
slave story that was been passed down in my family? All right, so as I've already said, my family worked plantations just like everybody else's family from the South. They said in my family that they used to give what's called juba on Sunday. All week they would save the slave master would save their scraps into a cauldron all week, and it would sit outside. They would pull that cauldron in on Sunday, add water to it, and make the slaves eat it with the master, so that he would, feel like he was letting them eat with him at his table. Well, the kids and everybody, if you don't clean yourself after eating rotten food like that, you get sick. So they would over consume watermelon. They would flood their body. It's a diuretic, and it's complete. It's one of the things that's complete. Watermelon, most melons, like you were saying, coconut. These are things you can live on.
Yes.
Like you can survive on these things. And it also flushes the body. Watermelon is a better diuretic than cranberry juice. It just isn't spoke of like that.
Yeah, especially when you chew up those black seeds. Those black seeds are very electric, and they're sharp, so they're a good scraper and scrubber for your colon. The rind, you can wash the rind really well. The green part that everybody tells you to throw away, you can shred that into your salads. You can juice it. You can put it into your drinks, your blended.
Exactly what I do. I juice it. We make watermelon water. I juice the entire watermelon and add water to that, distilled water.
Amazing. And that is one of the biggest tricks that they've played on as mental tricks, is that they say, all black people, all y'all eat is watermelon, and it gets us self-conscious to eat the watermelon when really you can live off the watermelon. Now the juba, the thing about the juba is that because it was fermented, it would feed their body with probiotics.
Phytonutrients and things like that. Yeah, I feel you, but I don't think this was a controlled rot. This was a very uncontrolled rot.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess they've perfected it now and made it into like something that is delicious and consumable. Because anytime
is this something that's still I just thought of this as a story in my family. Hold on. This is a real thing.
Yeah.
See,
That like juba it's like it's fermented down like food, so that you can it gives your body a lot of good iron, because the enzymes are breaking it apart, and it also the probiotics that are in it. Like, you eat your yogurts and stuff like that. That's like another form of that. It's like it's like a beer, a brew, a mead, because it has those fizzies in it. When it has those fizzies in it, that means those probiotics are in there eating and farting and creating those bubbles for you. So yeah, you could get drunk off of it, definitely. As a good hangover remedy, or as a good moving remedy to get that out of you, of course, it's the watermelon, because it's highly electrical. It's got a lot of flavonoids in it, a lot of good pigment, and the black seeds. The white seeds are whatever, but the black seeds are great if you wanna save as many black seeds as you can and soak them overnight, then even better. But yeah.
If you think about it, if you go to the store, how hard is it to find a watermelon that got the seeds in
My
it?
God, dude, it's very tough. I go to that Asian market and I see seedless a bunch of the times, but like once every year for an extended season, I will see seeded watermelons. And at those times, that's when I give it to my baby all day and all night. I mean, it's like watermelon for breakfast, watermelon for lunch and dinner.
How do you
Good
feel
shit.
about
What's that, Jay?
how do you feel about black cumin seed oil? I've taken that, and I've had a when I went for a job, I had to take a physical, and they said that I had a bunion on my toe, and I couldn't get rid of it, but I can treat it. So I'm like, you a damn lie. I listened to them, and I researched and came across black cumin seed oil, and I purchased it through Amazon. I received it. I started taking it. 3 days later, I still felt like some pressure, but it wasn't pain, and then after that, the pain totally subsided. Now I have no problem with my foot at all. So
Yeah, and I want you to keep on taking it, even though the problem is gone. Keep on taking it, maybe once or twice a month, just to have it in your body. A lot of times, we don't realize that the constituents of the food we eat stay in us for months. So I don't have a problem with that. Typically, oils like that, they don't have like a cold pressed version, or it's just done how it's done. But obviously, if you could find a cold pressed,
nah, it's cold press. It was cold press.
there you go. That you found a jackpot. You found a. I very black. Same with black walnut powder. If we're talking about black stuff, black walnut powder will do wonders topically and in ingesting and in castor oil too. This earth provides us with the medicine. That is why we have to get off of the meat. We have to get off the meat and dairy, because how can you feed something that is living, which is your body, with something that is dead? When you take a watermelon or a lemon, it's not dead. If you put it on a Carillion a Carillion camera, then you will see huge electrical sparks coming off of the lemon and the kale. But if you put a piece of flesh under this type of photography that can photograph the auras, then you will just see like a dim glow. Not much going on. So the seeds in the lemon are still alive. The oils in the lemon, the enzymes are still spinning and rotating very fast. So you cannot give your body life with something that has actually died. Now, you wouldn't eat a salad that had all the spinach and the kale all mushy and soggy and black and furry and stuff. No, because it's dead. It's dead. So why would we eat a rotting corpse that is only going to further rot in our stomachs? And then when you pass the gas, oh my God, it smells like a cemetery.
Look, see, and that goes perfect with what I was saying, and it changes your physical. Like it changes you. I haven't eaten meat in like a year and a half, and man, I'm telling y'all, it changes you. The black seed oil, the black walnut oil. I want to say my father told me years ago that that's for prostate and all sorts of other things. It fixes imbalances in the body. I have the only reason I even spoke right now, I'm glad it came back to me while I was rambling right then. my father got an old book. It's a herb book, and it's a reprint of an old herb book, and it's goes off the what was his name, Hippocratic oath type thing, and it tells you how to identify herbs and identify things. It tells what they do. The first line of that book says, "Food should be your medicine," or "Food shall be your medicine," and it was an excerpt from some sort old proverb or some
Yeah.
shit.
Let
But
food be thy
should be the
medicine,
medicine.
and medicine be thy food.
And that makes perfect sense, and that's what we ain't doing in life. And that's what it's so easy to go to and get 99 cents worth of garbage, but you go try to get 99 cents worth of real food and see how far you get.
Yep. And you know what? It's funny is it's so rudimentary. It's so simple to eat vegan that it's hard. It's complicated. People are like, well, where do you start?
Exactly.
What do you do? Well, you don't eat anything that comes from an animal. That's all you do. I don't care how you cook it up. Put your tomato sauce with your beans and put a little curry in it. I don't care. Just don't eat animal products. And
It can't come from a box. That's the biggest thing also. Like everything at our stores is in a box. It's processed. Process anything, every process that something goes through is more of that light you were speaking of earlier getting taken from it. It's no longer got that light in it. Fresh from the tree is the closest you're gonna get to sacks of light, like you said. Even if it sits in the store for a minute, it's still got that light in it, but nowhere near as if you pluck it from that tree and ate it.
That's correct. I even had a joke with my friend. Imagine we just, we didn't even take it off of the tree. Imagine we just like pulled the branch down and ate the apple with it still attached to the tree.
Which is what they showed the little fictitious dinosaurs doing and shit, really, when you think about it. I mean, that's what the animals do. All the animals you see in fantasy movies, you see them doing that type shit too.
Yeah, that's right. And it's amazing. I mean, and no wonder why they never sleep. I mean, birds are up at 4 a.m., the dogs are up, everybody, all the animals, they eat what they're supposed to eat, and they have no need to really sleep deep and not want to get up for the cold ass morning. You know what I mean? My daughter has never eaten something from a box or a can or a package. Everything that I make her, every time that I make her it, I'm cutting it up fresh. You know what I mean? Everything is fresh, and it's possible. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of work, but it's possible. And if you really care that much, you'll go that extra mile. So yeah, I it's getting late. I gotta sign off. I want to spend some time with my family. But this has been a really great build. Flat Earth. What's your full name? Flat Earth. What?
Oh, it's Flat Earth Unity, but I've been on before. Y'all don't see me. My name is Josh.
Yeah. It gets cut off on this thing. So Flat Earth Unity, Josh, man, you got a wealth of information. I would love to build with you more in the future. Jarian, you ask great questions. You know what I mean? Because you can tell somebody's intelligence off the questions that they ask. So, great questions. And I don't know if the build is still there, but I'm gonna sign off. And I'm going to share this video tomorrow on my page. And I just want to say much respect to the build for having me through, and Flat Earth Unity and Jarian. Thanks so much for building with me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
No doubt. All right, y'all. So try to holler at the build and try to get the show back going. All right, y'all?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Peace, flat power to all y'all.
Flat power, man.
Peace.
Yeah. So he speaks truth with the enemas, I believe, because like I said, my mom and them, and a lot of when you hear about old remedies, a lot of it got to do with putting, like he was saying, charcoal, all sorts of things in enema bags and putting it in a baby's ass or putting it in your own ass or putting it in whoever's ass. Like, it's silly to talk about putting shit up somebody's booty, but if it heals us, nothing should be taboo if it's going to do some benefit.
Yeah, it's only taboo because of, our modern times, you know what I mean? The way people look at things, they perverted things so much. They perverted the breast, they perverted the birthing canal, they've perverted everything, to where every time you think of something, you gotta say what it is, no homo type shit, you gotta say shit like that just to clarify that you're not some type of way, you know what I mean? But I see it, man. It's just crazy, bro. This shit is,
I mean,
it's hilarious.
you speak truth because it's exactly what it is. It's just taboo because we heard someone before us, someone we looked up to, be like, "No." I mean, that's true.
Straight up, man. I just don't. I don't conform, and a lot of people they don't. A lot of people when they see that that looks kooky. Like shit, I can't do what y'all doing. I always did. Whenever I seen somebody going one way and doing something stupid, I'm like, oh, you know what? Hello?
Yeah, you there, bro.
Okay. I think Flat Earth Unity fell off.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, but I was just saying when I see somebody doing something stupid, I just walk the other way. Like, you know what, I'm gonna see y'all later. I love y'all. Y'all can do what y'all gotta do, but I'm gonna do me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people looked at that as cowardice. But I'm like, what? I'm not stupid. Just okay, because y'all jumping off a bridge. I gotta jump too, right? Like, nah. I didn't conform to that shit. So, but Masterpiece was, dead on with the enema. Sound like I need to give me an enema. Shit.
Looks like they all dropped out of the call.
Say it again.
So it looks like they all jumped out of the call.
He fell asleep, and I was in the room with the baby, so
Nah, it's all good. I've been on the build all day, so I'm actually right now fixing the children food and shit. I'm about to go lay down and watch a movie, get some insight, talk to my wife, whatever. You know what I mean? Watch a lecture. I don't know. Do something. I'm off tomorrow.
I should probably do some stuff, something tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow too.
Say it again.
So I'll probably get it in tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow too. So we're lying about
Yeah, man.
All right, brother.
It was a good day, man. I can say this is the first day outside of spending time with my family that I've enjoyed in a long, long time. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Kiss that baby for me. And I'm head on in.
Okay, man. Much love.
All right, man. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.